Council meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Honorable City Council members, Mayor, Madam Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, our Chief of Staff, City Attorney, the administrative staff that's here, and also all of you who are in the audience. And also to those who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel on YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card, which is located on the table in the back, and hand it to our deputy clerk. And at this time, we will take roll call. Councilwoman Abdo? Here. Councilman Barden?
Here, and thank the Lord.
Welcome back, Councilman Barden. Councilman Kraut?
Here.
Councilman Jones?
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe?
Here.
Councilwoman Talley?
Here.
And Mr. Chair, Councilman Wadsworth is asked to be excused this evening.
He's excused.
So noted. Mr. Chair and Council, we have a quorum for tonight's meeting. Our agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6 clerk's report, 7 treasurer's report. Sorry. 8 public comment, 9 unfinished business, 10 new business, 11 warrant, 12 communication, and number 13 adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Jones, for approval of the agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, we're requesting approval from the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, June 9th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m.
So move for approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, June 6, 2025.
I second that motion.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from our regular meeting held on Monday, June the 9th at 7:30. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Agenda item 2B, we are requesting approval of the minutes from the special meeting study session that was held on Monday, June 9th, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. This was to discuss the 2017 CIP bond refunding.
To the chair,
Yes, Ms.
I'd
Talley.
like to make that motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting study session held on Monday, June 9th, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the 2017 CIP bond refunding.
Support.
It's been motioned by, excuse me, Ms. Talley, supported by Mr. Kraut, for approval of the minutes from our special meeting study session held on Monday, June the 9th at 6:45 to discuss the 2017 CIP bond refunding. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Number 3, petitioner. There are 3 petitioners listed under this section of the agenda. And 3A, we have petitioners Joe and Jennifer Madison. They're here to petition approval for a block party and road closure request. If they can come up, please.
Good evening, elected officials. We're here once again this year annually as we come each year to request road closures in the area where we're planning on having a block party in the northwest corner of Romulus for fireworks and kids' fun and our annual get-together.
Good, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Make
Ms.
that
Talley.
motion to accept the block party and road closure request as presented by Joe and Jennifer Madison.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for block party road closure request. Any discussion?
Yeah, through the chair. How
Yes,
many
Ms.
years
Talley.
now?
I think it's officially like 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little-
Unofficially, it's a few more than that, but it was smaller way back.
Gotcha,
It was
thank
just
you.
family.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, huh? You say
Approximately 15 years.
15 years. I thought it was been a
Yes,
while.
Ms.
Thank you guys for doing that every year.
Ms. Roscoe.
I'd just like to make the comment that it also includes a no-fee permit for the block party.
Correct.
I'd just like to make a comment that the food is very good. I usually always go there. Some I've just found out too, you're in a family now. Yeah,
In Romulus, I feel like we're all family.
right. Right, I didn't know that. I
But
said,
we are in the family.
right, my niece married your son.
They just had a baby.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Brand new, 2 weeks.
Wow.
Wow,
Got
great.
another
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, under
Yes.
discussion,
Yes.
I just want to kind of read out what that motion, because we kind of have some language, because that's what's going to be in the minutes. It's just, we're approving it, but I want to just state it for the record.
Okay, good.
So the recommendation again is to authorize a no-fee permit for the block party event scheduled for Friday, July 4th, 2025, from 3 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m., and the closing of Hearst Avenue at Dexter Street to the property line of 6225 Chamberlain, the closing of Horace Jackson Dexter Street at Martin Place to the property line of 6358 Dexter Street, and the closing of Martin Place from the north property line of 6301 Dexter to 6304 Dexter, with access granted for emergency vehicles for the stated event. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what you're voting on.
If there's no other discussion. Thanks a lot. Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved. Thank you.
All right, 3B, this is another block party and road closure request, and our petitioners are Carrie and James, and I don't want to mess this up, is it McChinsky? Did I say it correct? Okay.
Hi, I'm Carrie. James is working. Yes, we're requesting, and good evening, everybody. We're requesting the street closure for my son's high school graduation party on July 12th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Hillsbriar Drive from Grande to East Wind, which consists of about 8 houses on both the east and west side.
If you'd like me to read that description, and then you can make that motion.
Yeah.
Do you have it
Is
there?
it 2 o'clock? You said it's 3 o'clock?
3 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, because we got 2 in here.
Oh, it's 3.
Okay. So, yeah, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I'd like
Ms.
to make
Talley.
that motion. The recommendation to authorize a no-fee permit for the block party event scheduled for Saturday, July 12th, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the closing of Hillsbriar Drive at Grand Drive and East Wind Street with a 10 feet fire lane clearance granted for emergency vehicles for the entire length of the street closure.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Mr. Kraut. And this is for the block party and road closure request. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved also.
Congratulations.
To your
Congratulations.
son.
Please join us.
Thank you.
Okay, our third petitioner, this is introduction and first reading. This is a rezoning, 2022-001, Wayne Lux Estate, between Beverly and Wayne Road. I'm not sure who's representing this request. Okay. Can you please state your name for the record, sir?
Joad Defuni, JED Services. I'm the project manager for this project.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So we did pass the planning commission, anonymous vote. It's a project at the corner of Beverly and Wayne Road, residential project. We're gonna go with the it's going to be a townhouse kind of project with an attached to garage. And if you don't mind, go through the slides. Oh. And this is a project mostly clustered in 10 units. It's an upper scale project with single family occupancy in mind. And it has a nice rooftop also, and a nice park on the left. We are seeking to rezone the parcel on the left. Then it will be the same zoning with the rest of the property. And this is the landscape plan. The property in question to be zoned is going to be mostly roads and landscape to work as a buffer between the project and the neighbors. Okay, that's a 3D rendering of what we are envisioning to build. High quality brick and that's another view of the 3D. And basically, so that would be the first reading for the zoning request to change the zoning to multiple, and we're looking forward for your approval.
Can I give them a little explanation, just the back project though?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I just had Jeff Becker, building official, come up with the information, and help with the presentation. If you don't mind.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Good evening, council. So this is a proposed development on Beverly and Wayne. They are here to try to rezone a small strip that's 100-foot wide. It's about 2.7 acres to attach to their, which is zoned single-family residential, and to attach to the parcel of where their proposed development is, which is zoned RM, which is low-rise multiple family. And their proposal, which they don't have in a site plan approval yet, they're just looking to do the rezoning right now for that parcel to attach to that piece. And their project consists of, right now, it's 11 buildings, 83 unit townhomes. And they're pretty close in finding all their circulation and everything. And they have a few more things to get passed to get to their site plan turned in and get a site plan approval. But it is a nice development, and they're looking for just that one strip, that 100-foot wide strip that's zoned single-family residential, to be rezoned to multiple families so they can utilize that whole area along with their other parcel to make this development work in that area.
To the chair, if I can add to that.
Yes,
I
Mayor.
just want to add a little bit of history on this site as well. This is a project that was started being talked about when I was a building official in my time down there, and it's something we'd love to see over there. It's a high density that would definitely drive some more use and more retail desire in that Wayne Road area. We got several buildings that we've forced through code enforcement to be rebuilt. They remain vacant because of lack of density. So we think a project like this would be helpful in that area, and they did have some restrictions. And it made it tight for circulation, so we thought it'd be beneficial to add this strip and to rezone it and help with some circulation issues that we saw in here for this density. So looking forward to seeing the development here, and it's long overdue on that area. It's been vacant land for a long time, so hopefully they can pull this one off. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Chair and Council, so we ask that you would take action on the following motion, which is being recommended by our planning commission, to approve the first reading of the request for RZ-2022 at 001 Wayne Lux Estates to rezone 2.73 acres of property on parcel DP 80-017-99-0025-000 from R1B Single Family Residential District to RM Low Rise Multiple Family Residential District.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion with a few comments afterwards. To approve, I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the request for RZ-2022-001 for Wayne Lux Estates to rezone 2.73 acres of property, parcel DP number 80-017-99-0025-000 from R1B Single Family Residential District to RM Low Rise Multiple Family Residential District.
Support.
Support. And I just want to say, I see some residents back there that was at the Planning Commission meeting when we first was doing that, and I appreciate you guys coming back out tonight. And this is just rezoning, like Building Director. Okay.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the introduction of first reading that was presented by Councilwoman Roscoe. Discussion, Ms. Roscoe.
Anyways, I'll continue, but we have residents here that were here at the Planning Commission meeting. Are they wanting to speak, John, on the subject?
Okay.
So, but anyways, I just want to say that this is only the rezoning tonight. This has nothing to do with exactly how they're going to plan this. And it's just going to give them more room for buffers. And from what I understand, they had a good relationship with the residents. And I hope that's continuing. And we'll move forward with the questions from the residents.
Okay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, or is it Ryan? Like to speak on this? Sampler? Okay.
Thank you, Council, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I guess my main concerns with this project is that the neighborhood is a 1950s neighborhood. I'm a single-family home. I have 2 small children, and my concern is behind my neighbor across the street. It's a really tight-knit community over there. They cut down all those trees and the green path to plant more trees. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think you should leave those trees alone, as well as my other concerns with the neighborhood, with the open ditches and the drainage issues we already have in the neighborhood that haven't been addressed. So those are my concerns.
Okay. Any other comments from council on this matter?
So, through the chair,
Yes.
just want to clarify, we're just voting on that rezoning piece. We're not looking at this whole, just that rezoning, that small parcel? Okay, I just want to make clear, okay. No, I just want to be clear.
If there's no other discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Council, it takes us to number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At 6 o'clock, they had a study session with the Romulus Schools bond proposal follow-up presentation, which was done at 6 o'clock. I'd like to take this time and opportunity to thank everyone for the calls and texts in my absence. What would happen was I had an allergic reaction to some medication that was serious, but now I'm okay, and my wife got me cutting grass again. So we're gonna move forward. Also, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Talley for taking my place in my absences. You did a great job.
Thank you.
And thank you. It's good to be back in council. Thank you, everyone.
Amen.
Thank you. That concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry. I'm going to yield the floor, recognize Councilwoman Talley.
Okay. Let me do this real quick. I want to do an acknowledgement to our colleague who's not here tonight because he's celebrating 58 years of wedding anniversary, Mr. Wadsworth. So just wanted to acknowledge him and his wife, Jean, that don't even look like she's been married 58 years. Him either, but, you know, she looked real good. So just want to congratulate them for 58 years of marriage. They're out enjoying and celebrating their anniversary, and he looks great too. So just happy anniversary to the Wadsworths for 58 years of wedding anniversary.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, under your report, also, I have an announcement I'd like to make, and also we have some guests here that I'd like to introduce and bring up. But first, it is with great pride and admiration that I announce the recipient of the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Deputy Clerk of the Year Award. And that was awarded to none other than our very own Deputy Clerk, Dejan Hockenhall. And so this evening, we have our state representatives here, Representative Dylan Wagella and Representative Reggie Miller, and they have a presentation. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm State Representative Reggie Miller. We're here tonight to honor a dedicated public servant, Dejan Hockenhall, who serves as the Deputy Clerk for the City of Romulus. Our Deputy Clerk was selected by the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks to receive the 2025 prestigious award of Deputy Clerk of the Year. His commitment to executing the various responsibilities of his role has strengthened the office of the Romulus City Clerk, Ellen Craig Bragg, and his work has contributed significantly to the betterment of the city's residents. I can attest to that. Our deputy clerk started his career in 2007 working at the 34th District Court. And he did that until September of 2020. And when he was appointed as the deputy clerk, it was during the 2020 presidential election. And some of his active memberships have been with the Association of Wayne County Clerks, the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks, the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, and Michigan Municipal League. In 2023, he was elected treasurer for the Association of Wayne County Clerks and then re-elected in 2025. I don't know how you've done all this being so young. Deputy Clerk has also served and sits on the MML, Michigan Municipal League Municipal Services Committee and Subcommittee on elections, where he offers a clerk's perspective on bills introduced by legislators like myself. He also serves as treasurer of the Juneteenth Planning Committee, which was fabulous, and as a member of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Planning Committee for the city of Romulus. In addition to these accomplishments, our deputy clerk has also secured $27,000 in a grant from the election security through FEMA, administered by the Michigan State Police, to enhance and upgrade the city security camera system for the city of Romulus for early voting. He also implemented procedures to enhance day-to-day operations at the city clerk's office and other city departments. He's created training programs and manuals, implemented the use of DocuSign, automated FOIA software, online applications, and this list goes on, and procedures for processing early voting ballots. The 2025 Deputy Clerk of the Year demonstrates appreciation for all that he has done and has contributed over the course of his career. So tonight, for all you do, this tribute's for you. And I'm honored on behalf of the state of Michigan to present our Deputy Clerk with a tribute recognizing his extraordinary career, his commitment to public service, and his achievement of being recognized with the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks 2025 Deputy Clerk of the Year Award. On behalf of everyone who has benefited from all that you have done, we offer our congratulations and our sincere appreciation for everything that you do. This is so well-deserved, and we want to acknowledge everything that you have contributed to. It sets the bar pretty high. So please come and get your tribute, and we appreciate you so very much. Let's give him a round of applause. We should go up there so you're not being blocked here.
Absolutely. You should give a speech too.
Before your speech, can I say a couple things? I just real quick want to say, so lucky here in Romulus to have two amazing staffers here in the clerk's office. Representing 4 communities, it is like very clear. Some clerk's offices are a little more efficient than others. Things get sent out on time, there are less complaints to come, and I just want to say, our deputy clerk, it's been nice to get to know you over the last couple of years and to run into you at so many of the events that I do go to. You're not only here efficiently, but you're also in the community, and I think that's super important to know that the people running our elections are doing so with integrity and with the community's interests at heart. And I'll keep it brief and let you give your speech here. So thank you so much.
Spotlight's on you.
Well, before he gives his speech, we have something else. So hold on, Dejan. So I want to ask the council if you would adopt a resolution in recognition of our Deputy Clerk of the Year, and I believe Ms. Talley.
Ms. Talley?
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk, and I will, through the chair,
Yes.
like to make that motion in recognition of our Deputy Clerk, Dejan Hockenhall, as 2025 Deputy Clerk of the Year through the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks.
Support.
Okay.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, in recognition for Deputy Clerk of the Year.
And if I could, if
Yeah.
I may, and Rep. Miller covered a lot of this, but this from the council, so I'm gonna read it. City of Romulus, a resolution in recognition of Dejan M. Hockenhall. I said it right, where's Dejan? Did I say it right this time?
You did.
Okay. Whereas Deshaun Hawkenhull, the Deputy Clerk for the City of Romulus, has been selected as the 2025 MAMC Deputy Clerk of the Year, a distinction awarded to individuals who demonstrate superior job performance, dedication, professional development, and meaningful engagement in local government. And whereas this award was presented to Deputy Clerk Hawkenhull at the 25th Annual Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Summer Conference Sterling Silver Jubilee Celebration on June 5th, 2025 at the Delta Conference Center in Muskegon, Michigan, with recognition from the Secretary of State. Whereas the Deputy Clerk Hawkenhull has consistently displayed an exceptional work ethic, thorough knowledge of election, administration, and municipal operations, and a commitment to upholding the highest standards of transparency, accuracy, and public service. And whereas his involvement in the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks, Association of Wayne County Clerks, the Michigan Municipal League, and other civic activities has enhanced not only his professional growth, but has also brought distinction and recognition to the city of Romulus. And whereas the Romulus City Council wishes to publicly acknowledge and commend Deputy Clerk Hawkenhull for his outstanding contributions to municipal governance and his dedication to the residents of Romulus. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Romulus elected officials, on behalf of the citizens of this community, takes this opportunity to honor and formally congratulate Deputy Clerk Deshaun M. Hawkenhull for being named the 2025 MAMC Deputy Clerk of the Year and expresses its deepest appreciation for his exemplary service and unwavering professionalism. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be presented to Deputy Clerk Deshaun Hawkenhull as a permanent record of our recognition and gratitude. Thank you for all that you do, Deshaun. Thank you.
I guess this is my speech now that I didn't know I was giving. Thank you. I count it an honor. I do everything in a spirit of excellence. I have a caliber that I hold myself to. I'm appreciative of our state delegation in this recognition. It did catch me by surprise, but it feels good to be recognized for the hard work that you do. But I don't look for the recognition, I just do the work that is presented in front of me. I count it an honor to work beside some of the finest public servants in the state of Michigan. And I'm right along with everyone else wanting the county, the state, even the United States to see Romulus as the jewel that all of us have seen. I believe we've been counted out a little bit for many years, and it's time that we are inching ourselves forward and breaking through the glass ceiling so the world can see Romulus, that Romulus is a great place, a diverse place, a culturally competent place to live and raise a family. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Boy, we are so fortunate in Romulus to have not only one, but two clerks of the year. We are very happy and blessed. Thank both of you. That concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms.
I'll
Roscoe.
make a motion to accept your report.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Crowell?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you, City Council. Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, and thank you. Thanks, City Council, Madam Treasurer, award-winning clerk's office. I think the rest of us have to step it up a little bit, so we have some hardware to hang on our wall soon, because they're making us look bad, so great work down there. Before I get into the action items of my report tonight, I want to introduce somebody to you, an attorney, Brandon Gresco, who's been working with the city of Romulus and Canton Township, Van Buren, city of Belleville, and also Wayne County, and represented us in the lawsuit regarding the hazardous material coming out of New York. And I wanted him to do a quick status update and let you know where we're at. So Brandon, please come to the microphone. And
Well, thank you. I was sitting over there thinking, I hope I don't have to follow that. So here I am, now having to follow that, and it's not going to be, probably going to be a little bit drier.
but you're doing good work as well, so it's another reason.
Well, okay, but I'm not going to get a standing ovation probably.
Not yet.
So, that's okay. I'll save it, but before I forget, thank you for the introduction, Mayor. I want to say good evening, thanks for having me, it's really good to be with you all, City Council, Mayor. Also want to say thanks to Dave Greco, who's the General Counsel for Van Buren Township, to Joe Hauber from Canton Township, and to your own Steve Hitchcock. The attorneys at these different cities and townships have been instrumental in the success that we've had, and so I just want to recognize that they've assisted us greatly in this, as well as the elected officials and the appointed officials from Belleville, Canton, Romulus, Van Buren, and then Wayne County too, who also jumped into the fray to help us out with this case. So many of you are aware that, or all of you probably at this point are aware that we did file a lawsuit in September of 2024 against Wayne Disposal, Inc., that operates the landfill over at the Belleville, Van Buren area there. So that case is still ongoing, so I'm going to be somewhat limited and somewhat reserved in what I'm going to talk about here tonight, because we don't want to say anything publicly that's not going to be confidential or privileged, and we wouldn't want to disclose any strategies or anything like that. But I do have some background information about the case that I want to share, and probably most of you are aware at this point that we had an evidentiary hearing, which is like a mini trial in this case on May 19th and May 20th, and now there's some follow-up things that we're dealing with to get through that, to see where this case is ultimately going to land and how it's going to go. So I did just want to give a brief overview, sort of where, how we got to where we're at now and sort of what the next steps are. So news broke in late August 2024 that Wayne Disposal was going to be accepting into its facility 6,000 cubic yards of radioactive waste from Manhattan Project site in New York. So this obviously broke in the media. Citizens and local officials were rightfully concerned about it. And so Eagle, in conjunction with Republic Services and others, participated in a town hall in early September to sort of address resident concerns and things of this nature. And at that point in time, the Wayne Disposal license has been expired for a couple of years. It expired in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. They're operating sort of provisionally based on the Administrative Procedures Act. And it was discussed by Eagle that we should have another town hall sometime in the winter, followed by a draft permit, and then in the spring, a formal public comment and a formal public hearing, which we know now that we're in summer, did not happen in the time frame that they discussed. But at any rate, your elected officials, they got together and decided to hire a law firm, so that's the law firm of Fossum and Grisco, who I'm here representing. And decided that they needed to do something to try and make sure that their voice was heard in this process. And so we put together a complaint within just a few weeks' time to be filed in Wayne County Circuit Court, which was assigned to Judge Kevin Cox, who's been overseeing this case for the essentially the entirety of the duration, except for a brief stint in federal court, which I'll talk about momentarily. So we first took a look at the Fire Protection Code. And we felt that after having discussions with Chief McNally in Van Buren Township, that there was grounds to say, hey, our public safety is paramount, and we see that we don't have the access points that we need, we don't have the pre-planning, the training, the equipment that we need in order to be able to safely respond. Many in the community here are aware, I think I saw a fire chief somewhere, that there's mutual aid agreements in place that would essentially require other communities to co-respond in the event of a major incident. And so this was of grave concern to the Van Buren Township Fire Chief and also to the community. So one count that we brought in our complaint was under the Fire Protection Code to have the nuisance abated in that regard. We had another count as well for general public nuisance. And, you know, the public has the right to health, safety, welfare, to be free from unreasonable radiological risks. The right to participate in the public licensing process, that's a right guaranteed by statute. Also constitutional rights involved as far as redressing grievances against government agencies and different things like that. So we argue that in our complaint and at the hearing that Wayne Disposal, by doing this on a provisional basis without their full licensure in place, sort of sneaking it in under the wire, so to speak, before there can be actual public comment on the license, you know, we felt that that was an unreasonable interference with the public's right and with the community's right to be heard in this matter. And so knowing that this waste could potentially go in quite quickly, based on what we were hearing from the media, we knew that we had to secure some type of interim measure in order to maintain the status quo, stop, you know, the waste stream from coming in for a time period so that we could see how this was going to play out within the court system. And so the judge did grant that request, which was a heavy lift. It was a significant legal effort in the very early stages of this before we had full information available to us, but we put together a solid enough case that the judge agreed with us and granted that temporary restraining order. And so from that point, we were really in a sprint from September to the end of the year dealing with emergency motions. You know, on the eve of a hearing, we had an evidentiary hearing scheduled. On the eve of the hearing, Wayne Disposal tried to remove us to federal court, which put a pause on the state court case, sent us to federal court where we were dealing with more emergency motion practice. And again, the community representatives, the officials that we were working for, they stepped up and gave us the authority to try and get this case remanded back down to state court where we felt like it belonged. And ultimately, we were successful in doing that. And then upon coming back to state court, instead of just going forward with the evidentiary hearing, they tried to file a motion to dismiss the case, which then resulted in sort of a longer time period that the injunction was in place. And ultimately, that motion wasn't heard, I think, until February. And it was at that point that the judge set the May 19th and May 20th hearing date that I'm going to talk a little bit about in a moment here. So I can't really say enough about Wayne County's participation in the litigation thus far. They've presented some good witnesses. They've been very valuable to us, both in their legal minds that they have over there, and also the factual information and the witnesses that they have available to them. I'm just going to talk briefly about a couple of them. Dr. El Sayed, who is the former Wayne County public health official, and Dr. Kimberly Kierfat from the University of Michigan, who was the plaintiff's and Wayne County's radiological science expert in radiological material and nuclear engineering and things of this nature. And these two witnesses really put in perspective what we're dealing with here, the science behind radiation. And they could say it more eloquently, of course, than I could. But suffice it to say that they were able to, I think, explain to the court effectively the sorts of risks that we're dealing with when we talk about radiation, the different things that they found in New York, in areas surrounding the site and things of this nature. So that was really important to have the backing of those witnesses to come out and really explain those things to the judge. And then, of course, Chief McNally and Mayor Voigt, McNally from Van Buren Township and Mayor Voigt from Belleville, to explain sort of the public perspective and the public safety and firefighting perspective on these things too. Wayne Disposal subpoenaed Liz Brown, who's an Eagle director, to testify. And she talked a little bit about the licensing process, and we had a very effective cross-examination. Joe Brown from my firm handled that, as well as a Wayne County attorney. And what we found out through this cross-examination of Ms. Brown is that really the soonest that they would be looking to do a public hearing at this point is not till August, and that's the soonest they could do it, only if everything kind of falls into place. So, it was obvious to us, and hopefully obvious to the judge, that but for this litigation, they would be still landfilling this waste. Maybe they'd be done with it already even, before there was any official public comment period or before there was any opportunity for the public to really be meaningfully heard on this. So we thought that was really important information to get out there. They also called to the stand a contractor who was responsible for remediating the New York site. And unfortunately, what we found out from this witness is that pricing schedules were really informative in their selection of the location that this waste was going to be landfilled. They didn't take into account things like population density in Wayne County compared to the 4 other counties that are out there in sort of remote parts of the country that also potentially could have accepted this waste. And so while it was disappointing to hear, we do think that it was evidence in support of our case. There were also 2 employees from Republic Services that testified, and they said the things that you would expect them to say about some of the protocols they follow and different safety measures and things like that when they're dealing with waste of this type. But this is the first time that I'm aware of, at least, where Republic Services representative has acknowledged now officially that at Michigan Disposal, which is on the same, physically within the same footprint as Wayne Disposal, it's technically a different business entity, but it's also owned by Republic Services. And Michigan Disposal is able to take much higher levels of radioactive waste. And what they do is they simply dilute it, and then it sounds like just drive it across the street within that complex to Wayne Disposal. And now they're able to say, okay, well, now it meets our permit requirements, so we can dispose of it. And this sort of dilution would not be permissible in any other waste stream. So again, we believe that this shows areas where the regulation is deficient, where there's opportunity for us to really make a difference here. So that being said, the hearing's concluded. We submitted proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law on Friday the 20th. And now we'll be back in front of the judge on July 1st for our closing arguments, where we'll be sparring a little bit. Closing arguments, you have the opportunity to be a little bit more theatrical, perhaps, than you would be in sort of a hearing with witnesses. But the key, I think, here is that in litigation, things can go either way. I think Steve would probably back me up on this. Every attorney's probably lost a case he should have won, and won a case that maybe he should have lost. And so, whether you have the best case or the worst case, there's a chance for the judge to do just about anything. So we don't know what's going to happen here. We can't predict the outcome. But we're just going to have to wait till the judge rules, I suppose, to find out about that. As far as expectations go, the judge could rule from the bench, which means that when we go down and do our closing arguments, he may already have a ruling prepared that he might read into the record orally. He may have a written opinion ready to go, or he may do what judges call taking it under advisement, at which point he would issue maybe a written ruling at some point in the future. And so we don't necessarily know how that's going to play out. We just want the community to kind of understand what the potential options are when we get to the point of doing those closing arguments on July 1st. But in either case, the communities have come together and we think put together a strong case, a good case, and have certainly been heard on this. If we do prevail, we can fairly well expect that Wayne Disposal would appeal that decision, and maybe the fight continues, or we don't know. But again, and the other thing, I guess, to be clear on is this is a preliminary injunction. So this is just a decision to decide whether or not the judge's order stays in effect through the conclusion of the litigation or for some sort of period of time in the interim. So this isn't the whole case. It's a key piece of the case, but it's not the whole case. And so whether it goes our way or it doesn't go our way, there's still a piece of litigation out there that we got to deal with and address. So again, that was the roadmap I wanted to provide. As a firm, we're honored to be able to serve the communities that we live and work in, and we thank you for trusting us. I will let the mayor kind of control maybe where we go from here. I prefer not to take too many questions because there's limited responses I can give based on sort of the ongoing nature of the litigation. But I appreciate you guys having me here today, and thank you for giving me the chance to do this update.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Was there any questions that you guys might have?
Any question from council?
And if you need to ask off the record, I can speak to you after the meeting as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys first and foremost for putting up the fight. Romulus has been in this, it's all too familiar for us, and it's nice to get somewhat of a win. I know we got a long way to go, but you guys are doing a great job arguing the case. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make a lot of sense to bury this toxic waste under the Great Lakes. And that's effectively where we are. So, and I want to make sure everybody understands too that this TRO is only against the radioactive waste coming out of New York. They're still pulling from different streams into that landfill. But if we could pull off a win here, it gives us something to fight on. So I appreciate the work you guys are doing. Also appreciate the efforts of the council, because we've had a lot of late-night meetings with the other communities, but it doesn't get going if council didn't approve us funding to turn me loose and start this fight. So we appreciate that, and we couldn't do it without, having funding available. So it's been a great cooperation between Van Buren, Belleville, Canton Township, Romulus, and Wayne County, and we'll keep doing the best we can.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. On the same topic, though, I want to make sure that everybody knows on Thursday, the 26th at 6 o'clock at Wayne County Community College is a town hall. They have hearings for these landfills and these sites. And a pet peeve of mine is they always have the bare minimum requirements for announcements. And they, in my opinion, intentionally scheduled the last hearing on this for a date when all the municipal leaders in this area were going to be up at Mackinac at the policy conference. And I acknowledge Representative Reggie Miller's team for finding this remote small ad on the back of a newspaper that alerted us all. So we all went to work and we got the hearing postponed. But the hearing is Thursday, 6 o'clock at Wayne County Community College. It's 9555 Haggerty Road. And it would be nice to see some people there. Van Buren, Canton, Belleville, they've been showing up. Like I said, Romulus has been in this fight longer than everybody. But what they love to do is say, nobody showed up, so nobody cares. And it's obvious we do care, but people don't know. So I want to make sure that everybody knows. So hopefully people will be in attendance from this city as well, and they'll voice their opinions and hear what's going on there, because what they're doing now is trying to expand the dump at Van Buren. So please save that date and come on out. On a lighter side, I would like to draw your attention to the monitors. We have Vanessa from the mayor's office with some messaging about our community events.
I'm Vanessa Tolliver, and here are some events happening in Romulus. Movies in our district returns this Friday, June 27th. Bring your blanket and chairs and join us for a free showing of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Parking begins at 8 p.m. at the Historical Park Pavilion, and movies begin at dusk. Concessions will be available for purchase. Applications for the Romulus Hometown Superhero Award nominations are open. Visit our website to find applications and to learn more about each category. The next one, Romulus Community Meeting, hosted by our very own Mayor Robert McCrate, will take place on Tuesday, July 8th at the Thomas J. Coleman Center beginning at 6 p.m. Save the date for your generation in concert at the Romulus Historical Park on Friday, July the 11th from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Your Generation in Concert is a live multimedia spectacular celebrating 5 decades of pop, rock, dance, and R&B hits. Thanks everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube, or visit our website for more information. You have yourself a cool evening.
Obviously, Vanessa didn't know the air conditioner was out at City Hall when she made that. It's got a little warm over here. All right, the first action item I have up tonight is a resolution for authorizing the issuance of the 2025 refunding bond. It's kind of on top of what we had the meeting before with the schools. This is a way to refinance the bond, and it should give significant savings throughout the life of that. And that is the bond, I'm sorry, for the 34th District Court building. We also have in the audience today Finance Director and also Pat McGow, who can answer any questions you may have on that for the city's bond attorney. Did you guys want to speak on that before, or answer questions that they have? Give a quick summation, Pat, that'd be great.
Sure, I'll just give a quick summary.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. We did discuss this refinancing opportunity at the city study session a couple of weeks ago, so I know the council is aware of this. But briefly, what we're talking about here tonight is authorizing a refinancing of the bonds that the city issued in 2017 for the district court building. So the market, the bonds are able to be called early later this year. And so there's an opportunity based on interest rates in today's market to get a lower interest rate on the bonds, to pay off the old bonds at the higher rate and refinance at a lower rate, producing savings on the debt service. So the one we're really looking at is the bonds that were issued for the court facility. There are a couple other bonds that are also potentially able to be called early. That includes the bonds that were issued in 2017 to pay for the road improvements and street improvements relating to the Amazon facility. Right now, that refinancing does not generate debt service savings. There's also a bond issue that the city issued in 2014 for various road, sidewalk, water, and sewer improvements that right now in the current market also does not generate savings. However, what we've done in this resolution, in the event that interest rates continue to go down, we're looking at potentially selling this bond issue in early August, and so we will evaluate what the market is at that time as to whether there's any savings available with those other two. So the action item before you tonight is to authorize a refunding bond in an amount not to exceed $22 million to potentially refinance all three of those bond issues, although as of right now, it looks like only the bond issue for the court facility generates savings. It's important to note that the city can only proceed if the city generates savings on the debt service after payment of all issuance costs, and there's a minimum savings threshold in the resolution that you have to save at least 2% of the debt service on the bonds. So that's the only way to proceed, is if it actually generates real savings to the city after payment of all those costs. So this is the only item that's necessary by the council to authorize this. It then authorizes the city administration and the finance director to move forward with the financing. We won't know what the actual savings are until we sell the bonds, and that would be sometime in early August or later, depending on market conditions. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the resolution or the potential refinancing.
Any questions from council?
Thank you to the chair. You spoke about some tentative savings. Can you share that information? I know you can't give us the exact, but you did give us some tentative with that savings.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to bring up Bill Roach, who is the city's registered municipal advisor, to talk about the potential savings in the current market.
Good evening. At the study session 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the total savings after you pay the cost of issuance over the life of the deal were slightly in excess of $1 million. And market has approved a little bit in your favor, so those numbers are going to have, if we were to price today, they would be a little bit better.
Thank you.
It's about $65,000 a year right now in savings.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do
Yes,
have a
Madam
question
Clerk.
for Pat. How are you? Good to see you. The public notice, does that, of intent, does that require publication on our part?
Yeah, thank you. There's no publication required in connection with this resolution or refinance.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, there is, later on, there will be some actions with the bond issue, but there's no publications required by the clerk's office for this.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other discussion from council?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached resolution authorizing the assurance of the 2025 refunding bonds.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for a resolution authorizing issuance of 2025 refunding bonds. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Gotcha. And I also want to thank our financial team, too, for constantly going over the books and the numbers and coming up with ways like this to save a significant amount of money. So thank you very much. Great work. The next item I have up is professional services agreement with Carlisle Wortman, I respectfully request City Council authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement, planning consulting services, master plan update with Carlisle Wortman Incorporated.
Through the chair.
Ms. Talley,
I'd like to make that motion and to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement for planning consulting services master plan update with Carlisle Wortman Associates, Inc. And I do have a quick question.
Support.
it's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for professional service agreement for Carlisle Wortman Associates Planning Consultant Master Plan Update. Discussion, Ms. Talley.
Yeah, was Carlisle Wortman the ones that did the previous master plan?
I don't believe that they were. Oh, that was LSL Planning at that time.
Who?
LSL?
Oh. You said LSL?
Mm-hmm.
Why we didn't go with them again?
Change of personnel?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Is this for every 5 years, Mayor? Update every 5 years?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thanks. Any other discussion from council? If there's no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up, I can't believe it's already coming that time of year, but it's a request for no-fee permits, and activities and fees associated with the Pumpkin Festival. 4 separate motions are required, so I respectfully request the council authorize a no-fee permit for all Pumpkin Fest parade and light activities during the 27th Annual Pumpkin Festival weekend of September 9th, September 21st, 2025, as well as the following road closures as requested. And I will leave that to council to read all of those.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Okay?
Motions to concur with the administration and authorize a no-fee permit for all Pumpkin Festival and Parade of Lights activities during the Pumpkin Festival weekend of September 19th through September 21st, 2025.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut,
Yeah.
to concur with the administration and authorize a no-fee permit for all Pumpkin Festival, parade lights, activities during the Pumpkin Festival weekend of September 19th through September 21st. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
I'll make the motion to concur with the administration and authorize the closure of Hunt Street between Goddard Road and Vivint Street beginning at 12 p.m. noon on Friday, September 19th, 2025, and ending on Sunday, September 21st, 2025, at 8 p.m. for the primary midway of the Pumpkin Festival festivities.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to concur with the administration, authorize the closure of Hunt Street between Goddard Road and Vivint Street beginning at 12 p.m. noon on Friday, September 19th, and ending on September 21st at 8 p.m. for the primary midway of the Pumpkin Festival festivities. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I'll make the motion to concur with the administration and authorize the closure of Goddard Road from Gabrielle Street to east of the post office driveway on Saturday, September 20th, 2025, beginning at 8 a.m. and reopening at 8 p.m. for the Pumpkin Festival Car Show and Pumpkin Chuckin' Competition.
I second that motion.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdos, supported by Ms. Talley, and this is to concur with administration, authorize the closure of Goddard Road from Gabriel Street to east of the post office driveway on Saturday, September 20th, 8 a.m., and reopening 8 p.m. for the Pumpkin Festival Car Show and Pumpkin Chucking Competition. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I'll make that motion to concur with the administration and authorize the closure of Goddard Road from Moore Street to east of the post office driveway on Sunday, September 21st, 2025, beginning at 8 a.m. and reopening at 8 p.m.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to concur with the administration and authorize the closure of Goddard Road from Moore Street to east of the post office driveway on Sunday, September 21st, beginning at 8 a.m. and reopening at 8 p.m. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up is a change order for continued improvements in the Goddard Park Plaza, also known as Eagle Alley. I request City Council to approve the change order number 3, RFP 24-25-02, to extend additional work within the Goddard Park Plaza, Eagle Alley, for a total amount of $12,438.88.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and approve the change order number 3 to RFP 24/25-02 to extend additional work within the Goddard Park Plaza Eagle Alley for a total amount of $12,438.80, and I do have a comment.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Mr. Kraut, for RFP 24/25-02, Goddard Park Plaza Improvements, change order number 3. Discussion by Ms. Tally.
Yes, I just want to make a comment. Jerry, we had a ribbon cutting over the weekend at the Eagle Alley. If you haven't been out there, get out there. It's just a beautiful sight. It looks great, all the work that's put into it. I just say get out there. Eagle Alley is beautiful, and it just brings a different look to that area. So if you haven't been down there, go check it out. So Eagle Alley is off the hook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
Yes, Jerry, I volunteer at the senior center, and I just wanted you to know that many of the seniors from the high-rise there are really excited about Eagle Alley because it's a great place for them to go. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council? If not, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up is Actron Security Alarm System and video conferencing equipment at the Chamber Building in our downtown. Respectfully request council's authorization to piggyback on the GSA contract GL-07F-173CA for the purchase and installation of video conferencing equipment at the Chamber Building for a total cost of $15,333.60. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has verified that funds for this purchase are available.
Through the chair, I'll make the motion to concur with the administration and consent to piggyback on the GSA contract GL-07F-173CA for the purchase and installation of video conferencing equipment at the Chambers Building for a total cost of $15,333.60, which will include a 3-year warranty on hardware and a 1-year warranty on labor.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Jones, and this is for the piggyback on GSA contract, Actron Security Alarm Systems, Inc., purchases and installation of video conferencing equipment at the Chambers Building. Any discussion?
Yeah, real quick question. Jerry, I know, through the chair.
Yes.
I know that you called me last week about this, but I don't know if I forgot or just wasn't clear. The video conferencing, is it security, or are they going to be using like inside for?
Yep, this will be inside for other PowerPoints. Laura uses the one room. This will be available as another room for, any video conference or anything that we have even within the city as well for
Gotcha.
training
No,
purposes as well.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other comments, discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up is for our school resource officer, and I respectfully request City Council adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached 3-year intergovernmental agreement with the Romulus Community School District for one school resource officer commencing on June 28, 2025.
Brother Chair.
Yes,
Offer that
Mr.
motion
Jones.
to concur with the administration and authorization, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to enter into the attached 3-year intergovernmental agreement with the Romulus Community Schools District for one school resource officer commencing on June 28, 2025, and ending on June 28, 2028.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Jones, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for the intergovernmental agreement from school resource officer. Any discussion?
Yeah, quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, is the resource officer going to be the same as previous year? Do we know?
You mean as far as personnel?
The
Yes.
person that they assign?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Yeah, that officer that we have in that position does an incredible job over there with the
does.
students relating, and he's quiet, but he is definitely effective, does a great job. Definitely the right person for the job.
Absolutely.
Thank you. The next item I have up is a request to waive bidding for frontline fire engine. As you know, the ones that we have right now, although they might not seem that way, they are starting to age out, so we want to make sure we're up on our public safety service equipment prior to those expiring and their useful life service. So respectfully request City Council authorize the fire department to waive the bidding process for the purchase of one Type 1 fire engine from R&R Fire Truck Repair Incorporated with a total apparatus cost of $953,381. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has confirmed that funds have been budgeted for and are available. The reason we are requesting to waive bid on this one too is because these trucks were in high demand and we had a chance to get in line and get some that were coming off the line. If we wait and we let it bid, it might be 2 years before we get a truck, so we want to act as soon as possible.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms.
I'd like to
Tally?
make the motion and concur with the administration and authorize the fire department to waive the bidding process for the purchase of one Type 1 fire engine from R&R Fire Truck Repair, Inc., with a total apparatus cost of $953,381.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Mr. Kraut, for waive bidding request for Type 1 fire engine purchase. And I want to thank Fire Chief for, I got a call that he explained it very well why it was waived. And like the mayor said, time constraints could be no telling when you can get it done. So is there any other discussion for council? None? Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. And just a side note too, we do have several requests in at the state and federal level for assist with the community project, and that was, our request was for our first response fire engine. So we do have requests. If we're lucky enough to receive one, these funds will stay in the fleet. But right now we do have requests out there for federal funding for $1 million for fire apparatus. However, we didn't want to wait and find out, you know, hey, we might wait 1.5 years and not get the funds. So we want to make sure we had the awards. So we want to move forward, and we'll continue with the request for additional funding as well. Okay, the last item I have up is for a budget amendment for to cover the rising cost of healthcare insurance for our employees. I request introduction of budget amendment 24-25-19 to cover health insurance rate increase, dental insurance, and staffing for staffing fiscal year 2024-2025.
Through the chair.
Ms. Tally?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and introduce Budget Amendment 24/25-19 to cover health insurance rate increase, dental insurance, and staffing changes for fiscal year 24/25.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Mr. Abdo, for introduction of budget amendment 24/25-19. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. One last bit of housekeeping. I wanted to thank our clerk, Ellen Craig Bragg, for a fantastic job once again, and I will leave it to you to name all the people who helped. But what an incredible Juneteenth event, and what a great day to celebrate culture and the diversity that is Romulus. Again, Saturday from start to finish, with the people helping out with the event, to the people who came to the event, and also finish it up with the event we had downtown, Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. What a great day to be from Romulus, and a great day to celebrate each other and hang out. And again, hats off to you. And I know you had a great team around you, and I'll let you name them off because I'll forget somebody. But there was such a great community event, and I'm so proud that Romulus puts those events on, and there's no issues, there's no problems. It was just everybody enjoying each other and hanging out with some diversity, and great job. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
That will conclude our report for this evening.
Okay, number 6 is the clerk's report, and again, thank you, Mayor. And just to comment on the Juneteenth celebration, this was our 3rd annual year, and so it gets bigger and better every year. And so I just personally want to thank the committee. We met. We had Zoom meetings, and they were just an hour, and we were able to get, take care of a lot of things to get it done. And I don't want to forget everybody that's on that committee, but we have Councilwoman Talley also serves on that committee, also Dejan, our Chief of Staff, our DDA Director, our Cable Director, Mike Laskaska, and I don't want to forget anybody, but and a host of others, and of course Reverend Willis, who he can just bring it all together, and he was our MC. But it was a great event, and again, working collaboratively with the various departments, DPW. We couldn't have done it without them. Our fire department, Chief Chapman, I believe he's already gone. Our police department, everybody again working together for this event. I want to thank the APA, American Progressive Association, the Romulus Rotary, who helped out in the hospitality, our Romulus Library, our Public Safety Foundation, UAB. I just want to pause here for a minute with UAB, which Councilwoman Talley is a chairperson, founder, I believe, of that organization. But they provided food vouchers for our food trucks, which really helped out with a lot of families, because if you're bringing a couple of kids, and we had 5 food vendors there, so those food vouchers really helped. And it works both ways, because it's helping families and all those that are visiting to, to buy food, and then it helps those food vendors. They get something, because after the end of the day, they turn in their vouchers, and UAB writes them a check. So it's a win-win for everyone. It was a great day. It was a little warm, but we did some things differently, which panned out. It worked. It wasn't as hot as it was last year. And then a huge thanks to Blocks. They, kind of called like a few days before, called the mayor and said they wanted to donate and participate with produce, I didn't know it was going to be a truckload, a trailer load, and just cases and cases of fruit. And it was a hit, and people really, I had to stop a few folks. I think they thought they were grocery shopping, but it was okay. But it was great. It was just an all-around great day from the stage, from those that participated on the stage. We heard from the different vendors and all the services. Again, as the mayor stated, it was a great day for culture, and it really was indicative of our community as a whole, and just kind of learning and sharing. And so when you looked out, you saw Romulus, and then again, just closing out with the booze, and barbecue. I want to make sure I get that right. And a lot of people, although they were there all day, they just walked on over, downtown. So as the mayor stated, it was a good day in Romulus. It was a little something for everyone. There was activities over at Blue Sky. So, it wasn't a day to be bored. There was a lot going on. And we know it's a busy time with graduations and open houses and things. But again, a huge thank you to everyone who participated, who contributed to the success of this, this for us to celebrate Juneteenth. It is American history. There's a lot there. And so we look forward to next year. This year was really tough. I said, that's it, not doing it again next year. I'm going to pass it on to someone else. But when you see the momentum that we've gained, and just, for the community, it's about community. And so, again, thank you to everyone. It was a good day. It was truly indicative of one Romulus, our mantra, one Romulus on Saturday. So again, thank you. And with that, I'm going to go into my action items. 6A, and this is a second reading and final adoption of amendments to our ordinance. So we're asking council to approve the second reading and final adoption to amendments to Chapter 36, Offenses, Article 7, Offenses Against Public Safety, adding Section 36-325, Offenses Involving Unmanned Aircraft to the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances. This amendment was introduced at the June 9th, 2025 regular council meeting.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally,
I'd like to make that motion to approve the second reading and final adoption to amendments to Chapter 36, Offenses, Article 7, Offenses Against Public Safety, adding Section 36-325, Offenses Involving Unmanned Aircraft to the City of Romulus Code of Ordinance. This amendment was introduced at the 6/9/25 regular council meeting.
Support.
been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Mr. Jones, for second reading and final adoption of amendments to Chapter 36, adding Section 36-325, offenses involving unmanned aircraft to the City of Romulus Code of Ordinance. In discussion.
Yes. Through the chair?
Ms. Abdo?
Yes, I would just recommend anyone who flies drones to read this. You know, people wonder, what are you talking, they need to be in touch with this. So if you have a child or maybe a kid that flies drones, or you do, you really need to get a copy of this ordinance and read it.
Yes, Mayor?
One additional comment. I just want to acknowledge Kevin Cross for the work he's done. He's been the tip of the spear with our work in the drone industry. We're ahead of several other prominent communities in this region. They've done a great job. Sorry, the mic was off. Just make sure Romulus is out in the forefront, but now you have federal mandates coming out of D.C. that are saying cities will be in line with this technology, and it's got a lot of the communities calling Romulus to find out how we got there. So Director Cross did an incredible job. He's still working to get our guys certified, both through public safety, DPW, economic development. It's going to be a tremendous tool for the city of Romulus, and thank you for getting this ordinance passed. It's another step towards making Romulus compliant, which a lot of other communities are not. So they're miles behind us in this area, so we're going to continue to lead the pack. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Agenda item 6B, we're requesting, asking council to concur with the recommendation of the Romulus Election Commission and adopt the attached resolution establishing Romulus High School as a temporary polling location for precincts 5 and 6 consolidated, 7 and 10 for the August 5th, 2025 special school election pursuant to MCL 168.662, Section 6. And after the motion under discussion, I'd like to elaborate and explain.
Okay. Need a motion?
Brother Chair,
Yes, Ms.
I'd like to
Jones?
offer that motion to concur with the recommendation of the City of Romulus Election Committee to adopt the attached resolution establishing Romulus High School as a temporary polling location for precincts 5 and 6 consolidated, 7 and 10 for the August 5th, 2025 special school election per at 2 MCL 168.662.6.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Mr. Jones, supported by Ms. Tally, for a resolution establishing a temporary polling locations for August the 5th, 2025 special school election. Discussion, Madam Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Council, so what's going on here is that these precincts are located at the middle school polling location, and so we were contacted by the school district. It's under construction. They're on the first floor, and so the area where we actually would have, you know, the polling location in the gym, there's equipment and there's so much going on. So to avoid, I didn't want to take the risk liability and voters going in, you know, into a construction site, you know, area. So under MCL 168, .662, Section 6, it allows us for a temporary polling location. So what that does, we take it to our Elections Commission, but it requires council approval because it is an actual polling location change. So the high school will, and that's one of our larger voter turnout at that polling location there. So the high school work, and I want to thank the schools for reaching out, in enough time and working with them to find, an adequate polling location, for the voters. So, and it's easy, easy access in the location there. So that's why this is before you this evening.
Okay, great. If there's no other discussion, roll call vote. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. 6.3, this is, we're requesting approval for second reading and final adoption of a proposed zoning map amendment to rezone lot 6-12 from C-2 general business to C3 highway services, and lots 13 through 30 from R1B single family residential to C3 highway service to redevelop the current party store property to a retail plaza with vehicle fuel pumps. And this amendment was introduced at the April 28, 2025 regular council meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Roscoe?
I'll make that motion to approve the second reading and final adoption of a proposed zoning map amendment rezoning to rezone lots 6 through 12 from C2 general business to C3 highway service, and lots 13 through 30 from R1B single family residential to C3 highway service to redevelop the current party store property to a retail plaza with vehicle fuel pumps.
I second that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley. Second reading and final adoption of RZ 2024-002 Super Y Plaza at 7130 Middlebelt. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. 6D is a public hearing request for Monday, July 14, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. And with this, the reason for this request is that on May 12, 2025, the Romulus City Council approved the commercial facilities exemption certificate for a period of 7 years for the Detroit Airport Hotel Limited Partnership 3 for property located at 8500 Wickham Road, and that was resolution number 25-145. So after going through, we discovered a procedural error in the approval process, whereas Public Act 255 of 1978 requires a public hearing prior to the approval of the application. So with that, so since the public hearing was not held prior to that approval, council's approval is not affirmed under the statute. So to rectify this, the application had to be refiled for the commercial facilities exemption. So therefore, we're requesting council to schedule this public hearing for July 14th at 6:45 p.m. And again, this is to hear the comments and objections to the application for commercial facilities exemption certificate pursuant to MCL 207.656. So we just, bottom line is that we didn't have a public hearing. So now we have to have a public hearing and basically start all over.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe?
I'll make that motion for public hearing request for Monday, July 14th, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. and to hear objections or approvals of the application for commercial facilities exemption certificate filed by Detroit Airport Hotel Limited Partnership 3 pursuant to MCL 207.656.
I second that motion.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for the public hearing request for Monday, July 14th, 2025 at 6:45. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the last item on, under my report, this is the notice of notice of determination for water and sewer rates and fees changes, which will go into effect as of July 1. No action is required unless you reject these proposed changes, and it would require a 2/3 majority vote from the city council if you are, if you reject what's being presented before you. Otherwise, again, the fees will go into effect July 1st.
Okay.
Through the
Is there
chair.
any objections?
Ms. Abdo?
I don't have any objection. I would like to know if Maria Ferris could come up and explain to the listening crowd what she explained to me. It was so much easier to understand, and so people will know.
It's totally up to the Mr. Chair.
Just briefly.
Good evening, council, mayor, elected officials, admin staff, those in attendance, and those that are watching from afar on YouTube. Yes, so annually we do calculate the rates. In my memo, shows some of the information on the rate increases from GLWA, which is around 7.73%, as well as DUA was 5.39%. From Rouge Valley, it was around 4%. So we get all the rate increases, and the rates are calculated annually, and there's just a few different things that drive the rates. So we have to take into account for our operating cost, our capital improvement cost, any infrastructure cost, and then we calculate the rates. The good news is our ready to serve there's no increase. So basically what that means is just to have water service, there's no increase, okay? However, on the consumption side for water, there is a slight increase. So like I said, GLWA is 7.73%, and for our water is only 5.8%. DUA is 5.39%, and our sewer is only 4.3%. So when I'm calculating the rates, we just make sure that we can pay our suppliers, protect our infrastructure, pay all of our operating costs. And the good news is it came out to where we didn't have to pass all of those increases on to our residents. So I was pleasantly surprised when calculating the rates. Also taking into account for our debt service, which is $2.6 million per year. On that note, last year there were different increases, and I am, again, pleasantly surprised that the increases are lower this year. However, each year the water rates are presented to council annually, and potentially next year we could calculate the rates. We could have some water projects, potentially some increased infrastructure issues, and we would have to increase the rates, as well as GLWA rate, increasing the rates, as well as DUA, and as well as Rouge Valley. However, that's why the rates are brought to council annually. And I have an example. So when I'm calculating the rates, and in the packets, it shows the majority of our customers are 3/4 meter. So that's like around 5,700 users. I don't like to say like our average senior citizen, but there's a population that has a 3/4 inch meter that uses around 10 units per year. So for that user, they're going to see about a 2% increase which is about $3.88 annually. So it's a slight increase. Unless they use more water, then that'll see the increase. So yeah, so based on the calculation, I was pleasantly surprised, and especially in our environment right now with a lot of costs increasing, that we could still keep the rates low and maintain all of like the infrastructure and paying our suppliers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks. If there's no rejection from council?
No rejection from council.
All right. Then that will conclude the clerk's report, which takes us to number 7, the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, chief of staff, listening audience. Wake up, wake up. I just want to remind everyone that the 2025 summer tax bills will be coming out. They will be mailed out at the end of the week, and you should receive them by July 1st. The summer tax bills are due on Tuesday, September 30th. Of course, if you have any questions, you can call our office at 734-942-7580. And that'll be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
That takes us to number 8, public comment, and this is the portion of our agenda. For those of you who are in the audience and who would like to address the city council, to do so, you would just raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium. We ask that you state your name. Please note that the rules to address city council can be found on the back of the meeting agenda. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, I do have one written request.
Okay.
That's from Connie Cox.
Good evening. I just wanted to give an update on the successful vendor craft show on June 1st. I ended with 38 vendors and crafters, and I had to turn people down. I didn't have enough room. We have a member in the audience tonight, Miss Deb, paid for 2 spots, which were donated to the Girl Scouts and the Cheer/Flyers. So their portion was paid with her. I also gave a free spot to the Romulus Adult Ed so that they could advertise. We had 3 food vendors, all from Romulus, which was a big hit. When everything was said and done, I donated $200 to the animal shelter, $200 to the blessing box, and $200 to Grind Line special events. They purchased coats and dinners, and so there wasn't one dime. I told you in the beginning, I didn't do this for the money. Out of 38 vendors, 38 wanted to go on a list for next year.
Good.
So, I guess, I didn't get any complaints, none from AutoZone, none, on the street, nothing. Everything was picked up. Everybody was really good. I was freaking out the morning of. The second week of May, I broke the 5th metatarsal bone in my foot. So I could not be walking around. I couldn't. He pushed me in the chair. Lipperts from Romulus brought their golf cart for me, and I could tool around in the golf cart to, communicate. So everybody was happy, everybody was having a good time. I could not have done this without, of course, the help of my husband, my son, and Mark Cox and Junior Cox from Grind Line. They set canopies up for the vendors, they tore them down, they unloaded cars, they put cars back. But I was already too far in, I couldn't cancel. Or up here, I couldn't. I couldn't cancel. And Jerry was a huge part for me. He guided me, he ordered the porta potty for me. He was very, very good for me. And the DPW brought the barricades, everything was down spot. I have no complaints at all, none. I was emotional, I sat in my chair, I cried part of the day. I've cried for 8 weeks because I'm in this chair, but, yeah, it's been tough on him. But it was good. For me, it was bittersweet. I pulled all this off, everything was good, and my brother passed the next day. So it's just been, so I've been crying a lot and, thinking a lot, but it was good. So I will be back to try to get a permit for the first Sunday in June next year. But I will have some help with me. I'm going to recruit some help.
Thank you, and it's an incredible event, and my condolences for your family's loss. And those events always get easier the second year, so well done. I'm glad it worked out. And you mentioned the Grindline Fitness team. They've been new to the team and getting involved in the city, and what a great job they do around the holidays. And it's great, and it's motivating for us to see residents step up and run these. It's not just the city running these events. For you guys to take all this time on your own to set this up, and the things we're doing at Grindline and the different things we have in the community. Even the Blue Sky team, they're always doing these great events, and they had that Christmas in June event over the weekend. But it's inspiring to us, so keep it up, and it tells us we're on the right track, and it keeps us motivated. So well done, thank you, and we'll see you out there next year.
Of my 38 vendors, 95% were Romulus residents, and all my
That's great. Great.
Ms. Page? Okay.
Hi, I just wanted to say you did a great job. I didn't see you down there, but I'm sure you were. But I didn't know you injured yourself either, so I'm sorry about that and about the passing of your brother. But it was a very nice event, and you did a great job. And what I do want to commend you on is, because we always hear about lack of communication, I thought you did an excellent job. Every time I would go to a city event, you were there passing out flyers. On social media, I got invited on there. Then I got a message through Messenger, and I thought, wow, she's doing a great job.
Every week I would do a countdown, and there was 1,000 flyers passed out. Romulus, Taylor, Dearborn, I mean, they were all over. And I said, if I can't get them there doing that, we're never going to do it.
Well, you did an excellent job.
It was great.
Yeah, good job.
Ms. Talley?
Yeah, so, Ms. Cox, as I stated at a council meeting a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was a great event for a first event. A first event, for you. So I thought the turnout was amazing. You did a great job, even if you was being wheeled around, you was getting around there really, really well. All the participation, you had a great traffic flow. For a first time, it really amazed me. So great job, kudos to you, and I'm just glad to hear that you are coming back. I'm sure it was a lot of work. Yeah.
I think I'm going to recruit Mark Cox Jr. because that kid is like on top of everything.
Well, you was on top of it, and it would be good to delegate some of the work. But you did a great job, and your husband, what can I say? I know he's always there with you, always. So thank you both.
Thank you.
That was the only written request.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? No comments from the audience? I get a chance to say again? Let's close that part out.
All righty.
Madam Clerk.
Takes us to number 9, unfinished business.
To the chair.
Yes, Ms.
We got a
Talley?
bit of unfinished business that's been out there for a little while. I've been getting beat up by some residents about not finishing fine-tuning our vacancy process. We need to set up a study session to fine-tune our vacant seat processes. As we know, we've lost a couple of council members over the last few years, and we really do need to fine tune that process. I've been catching it big time, and we need to handle that piece of business. So do we set up the study session now? I don't know, but we need to set that up like ASAP.
It's up to
Can we make a
council.
motion or set up a date, or what do we need to do?
I guess we could, on the next agenda, we can bring it back with a proposed date.
Okay.
That way, it's on the agenda for you all to vote on.
Okay.
So we'll add that to the agenda. Yes, for you
Okay.
all to vote on it for the next council.
That'll work. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Also,
Thank you, Ms.
under
Brown.
unfinished business, if I can, I forgot to mention Vanessa. She was key to, with our event, Juneteenth event, and Ms. Cox jogged my memory with regards to vendors. Normally, we only have like about 15 vendors. This year, we had over 30. We had about 35 vendors this year,
Wow.
and really hats off to Vanessa, who worked tirelessly and on the phone and emails out there, so it couldn't have happened without her her contribution on those vendors and bringing everybody together, because that was key. So again, please forgive me for that, Vanessa, if you're watching, want to say kudos to you, so thank you.
Thank you.
And if there's no more unfinished business, number 10 is new business.
Any new business?
All right, number 11, for approval, warrant 25-12.
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion, we pay warrant 25-12 in the following amounts. General fund, $162,473.30. Major street fund, $25,004.89. Local street fund, $536,485.38. Public safety fund, $30,550.77. Cable TV, $51.97. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $11,947.20. Street Lighting Fund, $56,620.13. Community Employee Activity Fund, $960.40. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $1,832.67. Oakwood SAD, $201.99. Tax Increment Finance Authority, $279,410.49. Downtown Development Authority, $1,862.69. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $6,531. 911 Service Fund, $6,598.28. Drug Law Enforcement Fund, $433.32. Law Enforcement Federal, $4,195. Library Fund, $9,075.37. Water and Sewer Fund, $466,591.27. Motor Vehicle, $69,135.84. Technology Services, $26,814.30. Retiree Insurance Benefits, $149,267.19. Revolving Fund, $6,123. Impress Payroll Fund, $381,055.81. Delinquent Personal Property Fund, $2,149.51. Totaling all funds, $2,235,371.77.
Support. It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, to pay warrant number 25-12 for $2,235,371.77. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Number 12 is communication.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Talley.
A couple of things. We've talked about all the great stuff. We talked about the Juneteenth celebration was awesome. We talked about Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. That was awesome. We talked about Eagle Alley ribbon cutting and what's going on in there. It was awesome. But we forgot a couple of small, not small, but they happened earlier before all these, so I think they get a little forgotten. So I want to just shout out to the city for the great Flag Day celebration. That's always a great annual event, and I look forward to that. So thank you, city, for the Flag Day celebration. And then we had our first Music in the Park with Louis Lee, Alumni Night. That was another great event in our city. They just keep on coming. So I try to make the ones I can. We got so many going on. So let's just come out and support our city. We have a lot of great events going on. And just kudos to the city and everyone that's doing great things in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Talley.
Is there any more communication from council?
Just one. I'll probably be talking about the Lions next meeting.
Okay. We'll do it.
I won't do this time.
Also want to remind, just let everybody know that if you are on the absentee ballot list, absentee ballots will be going out this Thursday. So look for them in the mail. Okay?
Ms. Talley had something to say.
I forgot, we had a kickball event a couple of weeks ago at St. John's Lodge. Amazing. So they substituted doing the softball for kickball, and that went really well. We had the city, we had the school district, and just residents, I think, were kind of out there too, just like, we want to play kickball. So great event. Mayor Yatin Colleen heading it, Dumas out there. It was a great event. The food was off the chain. I mean, it was just a great event. Food, fellowship, the game, kickballing. Thanks for making that switch. It was great.
Thank you.
All right, number 13 is adjournment, and the time is 9:23.
So moved to adjourn.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo for adjournment. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.
So